Hey, and good Wednesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you. Just double checking, making sure my microphone was on. How you guys doing this morning? Ready to get you going here on the day. Welcome to the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. I'm your humble host, meteorologist Greg Majeski here. No nonsense weather guy. We kind of keep you straight here, and try at least try to. There's enough social media hype out there for everybody. But if you're new here to the channel, again, appreciate you checking us out. And it'd be an honor and pleasure to be one of your weather sources. Please just hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. With that, all that business out of the way, let's talk about the weather. Boy, let's start with the space weather first. Oh, wow, was those auroras all over the place. I mean, it was not expected. The bigger of the two coronal mass ejections, the next one's coming in like later today and then going into tonight. But that first one was, wow, had auroras all over the place, all the way down to Florida they were seen. And not sure if we'll see a repeat for tonight. And weather across a lot of the country is looking pretty good, except for the Northeast, obviously. But again, it was pretty cool to see. Anyway, let's talk about our highs and lows from yesterday. And I had to do one on my own here a little bit because officially they said that Mount Washington was the coldest at 4. But I happen to know that Mount LeConte there at the top there in Tennessee was 3. So I put them at 3 yesterday. And then we also had Oakby, California was the high at 95, as well as Glamis, California, there in Southern California was also 95. So those are our highs and lows. So anyway, let's talk about our weather today. Obviously, we got some weather up here into the Northeast. They got some more snows out there. It is active there on the West Coast. High and dry here in the middle of the country in the Southeast, seeing a nice little rebound in temperatures after some bitter Arctic cold air. Had a lot of record lows that were set there on your Tuesday morning. And even last night, there were some records set. But we're going to see some nice warming trend here across the country. And the teaser for this update was talking about the polar vortex. There was a lot of email, a lot of social media postings about, oh, the polar vortex is about to break free, stratospheric warming. We're going to see big chill cool down on Thanksgiving. Hold your horses a little bit, okay? Just a little, okay? That might be a trend. We'll see what's happening. Right now, the European is not going bonkers with it, and that's my preferred model of choice. I think we'll see some cooler weather come down, but whether we see something like we just saw remains to be seen. We'll keep it in check. I think we're going to definitely see a more progressive weather pattern. There's going to be some opportunities for some thunderstorms and some severe weather we got to watch there, and some additional snow. So the Northeast and the West definitely look like they're going to see their snow totals come up. We'll show you that here in a minute. But anyway, this is what we're watching here for today. Obviously, we got the weather here in the Northeast, and they're going to stay active out there. Look at the high here across Florida. You know, the temperatures there across Florida are running like some 20 degrees below normal, while up there in the polar regions, they're running some 30 degrees above normal. So, again, just kind of a real mishmash. The story out here on the West Coast, we're going to be dealing with some rains and some heavier rains and some thunderstorms a little bit. Nothing severe, at least not showing from the Storm Prediction Center. But we're definitely going to see some excessive rainfall come up there, especially going into Southern California here over the next couple days. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Now, as far as our current watches and warnings are concerned out there, I got a little bit of lake effect snows up here across New York State, not looking bad. A little breezy out here in California. The Sierra Nevada seeing some winter weather stuff out there right now as well here for today, but a lot of the country really not looking all that bad. Now, as far as some of the rain coming into snows here across Lake Erie, coming into portions of New York State, that'll be kind of increasing here as we go through the days. There's going to be a little more snow. Wait till you see the snow cover here, 10-day snow snapshot there for the Northeast. Looking pretty decent out there. Not bad at all. All right, the tropics, we're all counting it down. We're down to 18 days left in the hurricane season. It is staying quiet out there. Nothing imminent for the next 7 days. I'll be glad to put this one to bed here very shortly. Don't have to worry about that. Let's go talk about the thunderstorms out on the West Coast. We were talking about out there. So again, looking at just general thunderstorm threat here across Northern California from Eureka down towards San Francisco. Day 2, a little more California, Northern California, getting down towards Southern California from Santa Barbara all the way to Eureka. So that's your day 2. And then day 3, we kind of shift down here into Southern California. That's where we'll see the action down here across from Los Angeles down to San Diego. And it'll be this area I'm a little concerned about, a little bit of the flooding potential. So let's look at the excessive rainfall totals here. We're going to look at that here real quick. And look at day 2. Here's day 1. Again, not bad here for today. But day 2, again, when you start seeing the yellow, start getting 15%, then we're talking about some flooding problem. Even getting up in the Sierra Nevada here from Redding, down here toward the middle portion of California, San Jose, San Francisco, even getting down toward Los Angeles. And this will shift down to the south as that system drops to the south. Here you go. We kind of see that down here. So from Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, anytime you get concrete cities, you get some heavy rains, you can always look at some urban flooding as always a possibility. Of course, Southern California is a prime candidate for that, obviously. All right. So anyway, let's talk about our short-term models here. Let me get that up. We'll look at our intermediate model here, the NAM 6C. Take a look at what's going on here for the next 60 hours or so. So we're watching, obviously, the northeast. We've got some snows up there. You kind of see that up there with a little system coming on through there with some snows and some rains. Southeast looking pretty quiet. Middle of the country looking pretty quiet as well for the next couple of days. But we got the storm system out on the west coast. That's what's bringing out that rain and the thunderstorm threat coming in through there. We'll see some snows up there in the Sierra Nevada. That'll be kicking in as well. So we've got that thing looping here. So, but looks like basically 75% of the country looking pretty quiet. Northeast and the west coast are going to be staying active here with the precipitation and the rain chances. So pretty quiet over a big portion of the country. Here is what we're looking at as far as our temperatures are concerned. I hate when this thing resets like that. It annoys me, but we'll turn it back on. All right, so again, we're kind of watching the how things are going to progress. We're going to see a nice warming trend here across a big portion of the country. Definitely going to see a lot of above normal temperatures there. That's going to be kind of arriving, and that's going to mean, not looking too bad. In fact, it's even warmer for next week. Wait till I show you those. Those are really going to blow your mind a little bit. So let this thing catch up here a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and stop this thing as we go into this afternoon. So let's go into 4 o'clock. Here we go. Look at it. Got 60s, 70s, warming up big time here across the Great Lakes, where they just a couple days ago had almost a foot of snow near Chicago. Things warming up. Still chilly in the Northeast, but a lot of the country fairly mild here for your Wednesday afternoon. Not bad. And then overnight lows going into or tonight, going in for tomorrow morning. We still got some blue out there. Still got some sub 32 degree temperatures here across the high plains, portions of the Ohio River Valley, parts of the Northeast. Seasonally cool across the Southeast, but really not too bad here across the nation. How about your Thursday afternoon? All right, let's go up Thursday afternoon. Boy, look at this. Wow, get 60s up here into Montana, South Dakota, 70s into Nebraska, the foothills of Colorado. And for you guys, it looked like big snow event there in Denver. It's still a possibility, but it kind of backed off a little bit today. I'll show you that here in a second. But anyway, that's what we're looking at for the next couple of days there, highs and lows, all right? Now let's look at your precipitation totals here. Again, not that much here for the next 60 hours. It is basically all west coast and a little bit across the northeast, but look how much of the country is going to be dry. Not much there to see at all here. All right, let me push this thing up to there. There we go. So there you go, west coast and the northeast. That's what we're talking about. I didn't think that was right. So there you go. So pretty dry across a big portion of the country. All right, let's talk weather pattern here. We're looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly map here again. And we're saying goodbye to that cold air. We got a couple of systems we've got to watch here. I'm going to back this up here. Again, we got that system into the northeast that's moving on through. Then we got that west coast system that's going to move in. It kind of rolls in over Colorado. There's that one going in towards Sunday. And so anyway, so that's what we're looking at right there as this thing's coming on through. And then we're going to see another one come on through here in the middle of the country toward Thursday. So there's the system on Thursday. And that one may bring some thunderstorms into the southeast next week. So that's the one we're going to watch there. That tracks off on. And then we got another one following behind it. And then we got a bit of a ridging here on the east coast. So, but one thing you're going to notice here on this loop, there's no big Arctic intrusion here. Pretty progressive weather pattern. There's a couple of them in there we got to watch. Obviously, with the warmer, milder weather, there will be a thunderstorm potential with a couple of these we have to watch. But I'm not seeing any polar invasion, not just yet. All right, now there's been some of the European long range that was hinting at what we call stratospheric warming. When it warms that loft, the polar jet stream gets dislodged, okay? The jet stream is weakened, and you get these massive fluctuations in the jet stream. Not seeing it yet, so just stay tuned here. We'll keep a watchful eye on this. And right now, it still looks like it's going to stay relatively mild to the end of the month. We'll see how it goes as we get a little closer. But right now, I'm not seeing anything overly cold, except for maybe cool down out in the west for right now. All right, so next 10 days, here's what we're looking at here. Again, as we watch that system kind of race in out of the west coast area. So that's going to move inland there. We'll get some snows into the Colorado area, but not as much as what was showing yesterday. Not seeing that much there. So again, we're going to see again the snow through the Intermountain region here coming on through, and then coming up the Great Lakes. So this is going into Monday next week. So this moves on up, and then looking pretty quiet. Then there's that front going into Wednesday and Thursday. See the thunderstorms there, right there, boom, right there going into Thursday. That will need to be watched for potential severe. It'll be temperatures in the 70s there, so we'll have to watch that. Maybe get some active weather there on Thursday next week as this slides on through. And then we get a little cool down here. And then look at it, got some nice little snows there across New England going in toward the end of next week. So that is our current trajectory here for the next 7 to 10 days, okay? So again, we're looking at pretty quiet for the most part. Outside of that big system we got to watch for next week. So, well, and then you got another one there. Of course, you got another big storm there on the West Coast coming on in there behind that one as well. So again, a little more progressive pattern here coming our way. And but no big polar intrusions here, at least right now, showing indications here going into the last week of Thanksgiving. Look at the rainfall. It does pick up here across Northeast. Southeast gets a little more rain. The West Coast very, very wet, all the way down from San Diego all the way up to Seattle. So getting some nice needed rains out there in the West. Intermountain looking at some decent rains there. And as far as the snow part of this 10-day total, not bad, really not bad. We're talking. Looking at 17 inches and so up here across the Northeast. Looking at some stuff up there. You get some, look at these snows out here in the Intermountain region, out here in the Sierra Nevada. 36 inches. I mean, that's some good, healthy snow. That's 41 inches. Yeah, that's some pretty good snows out there in the West. So we're going to get some additional snows out in the West. Northeast looks like some decent snows here. Again, this is a 10-day outlook here. Let me turn my clock back on here again. Again, this takes us out to Friday, November the 21st. All right, so there's where our snows are going to be. Now, as far as temperatures, again, this is going to this weekend. Look how much of the country is mild here on the 15th. Wow. Again, when you see the greens getting evacuated out, it is quite a bit. We got a lot of mild temperatures here coming in for Saturday. And then we got that front moving in on Sunday. So a little bit cooler here across the Ohio River Valley. But again, look at this, 60s. I mean, it's mid-November. It's supposed to be cooling down. Now it's at 80s in Texas. Okay, so definitely looking at above normal here across the east. We got a brief cool down there on Monday the 17th for the Northeast. And then we're going to watch that next frontal system come on in here toward next week. So this will be shrinking it down. Keep pushing it back. There's that cold air in the west. So it looks like things will cool down toward the end of next week. Even seeing some below zero temperatures there in Colorado on Thursday, November 20th. So that kind of pulls that back. And then here comes that front on Friday. Obviously, we got front shows up very nicely there as we kind of pull down and bring in some cooler weather toward the end of next week. Again, kind of a hit and run thing. But again, with a progressive pattern here, that's what we can expect. In fact, I can kind of show you this here, looking at the 850 heights. So when you look at the 850 millibar heights, you can see where the warm air is and the cold air is without that daily temperature fluctuation. So what we're seeing here, again, a lot of red on this map. Okay, that means we got a lot of above normal temperatures here across a big portion of the country. Here's a cool shot here coming in toward going in toward the Northeast. This is going in toward this Sunday, or I'm sorry, the 16th. So this is going to the 16th. I'll have to fix my little thing up there. Sorry, my timestamp's off there for you. But this pulls out to the Northeast. This goes into the 16th. So a brief cool down there, then it warms right back up. But notice the west. West is really getting really cooling down there. And then we got that cool shot here coming down toward the 21st. That's that cold front we just tracked there. But it moves on out. We warm right back up. And then this is going into Thanksgiving week. So Thanksgiving week, the east, got a big ridge there on the high. And then we'll see if this up here is our first indications. Are we getting a polar air mass to kind of come down here Thanksgiving week or not? We'll wait and see on that. Indications are we're leaning that way, but I want to see a few more runs. I really don't want to go crazy on this yet until I see something that tells me otherwise. All right, so looking at your 6 to 10 day outlook here, again, very mild here in the east, cooler out in the west. Again, this takes you from the 17th to the 21st, and again, the 19th to the 25th. No big changes there. It goes up till Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, and then we'll see if we're going to see that pattern change or not. That's the key. Are we going to get that pattern change that's going to bring in that colder weather in the east? So above normal precipitation, I don't know if I bite this. This part I disagree with here, because like us in our southeast, we're looking at basically one good rain event in the next 10 days, and I don't think that gives me above normal precipitation. Really don't. Sorry. I don't see that, but I think this is a little overdone. Maybe the 8 to 14 day is a little more progressive, going out further from the 19th to the 25th, but the 6 to 10 day, I think that's a little overdone. Just my personal opinion there, based off what I'm seeing on the overall weather map there. So anyway, that is y'all's update here for today. Who we got out there for this morning? Hey, Edith, thank you for the donation. Always appreciate the chat there. Mick, good morning. Good to see you out there. Florence, good morning out there to you guys this morning. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys checking us out. Again, we're gonna stay on top of this very religiously, especially with the travel day coming up. You got folks traveling, you got relatives coming in. You want to know what the weather's gonna be like for Thanksgiving. It's a little far out. You know, I usually like to kind of keep it to 7 days because I know it's kind of an extrapolation beyond the 7-day forecast. But at least we could sneak peek. We could take a look and see what's going on, see how it's trending from day to day. You know, just like good example yesterday, it looked like we're going to get a healthy snowstorm there in Denver. Now it don't look like it's going to be that big a deal. So it can change from day to day. Weather's always changing, always oscillating. And so there's no absolutes in weather. The best thing I can do is interpret and give you what we can see here on the short. Inside about 3 to 5 days, we're looking pretty good. We can nail that down pretty well. You start getting out day 6 and 7, it just starts becoming a problem because weather, I always explain it, is like a set of dominoes. You know, one domino's got to fall to the next one or the next one. But imagine the dominoes that are getting further and further apart. And eventually, that next domino is going to miss the next one. And everything after that is horse crap. So anyway, appreciate you guys checking out. I saw we picked up one subscriber here this morning. So wherever you are, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we'll see you tomorrow on the next update. You guys have a great day.